Hey, so let's talk about how to grow a bookkeeping and accounting business. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple different steps that it takes to actually find long-lasting success, and they're a little bit different than what most people think they are. So kind of bear with me and have a little bit of patience when we do this, right? Because it's not going to just be go on Facebook, do XYZ thing, and you'll have magical clients. This is what it actually takes to stay in the game and make multiple six figures, right? So at bare minimum, after 10 years, you've collected about $1 million in your business, okay? This is what it takes. So, number one, and also, if you've been trying to grow your business, like maybe it's just not quite going the way that you think it is, the way that you think it should, click the link in the description either above below the video to book a call with myself, see if I can help you inside of our program. Okay, so number one, it's going to be about taking control of your life. So it's always funny as I'm the kind of person where I retrospectively and proactively take a look at my life, other people's lives, and just generally where the scope or where the direction of the world is going, right? And it's not that I really want to do that, it's just how I've kind of been wired, right? Where I'm always kind of taking a step back and I always want to know like why, right? So for me, for example, if I can see a system and I understand I'm playing a game, I can beat that system, beat that game, right? So that's the big thing for me. I'm always looking for like, what is the game that's being played here? What are the rules? What are the outcomes? Are there rules? Or is this kind of a game where there's not a lot of rules, or the players that I know are both known and unknown, right? And as long as I can see that, I can kind of start developing a strategy around that. Now, life just happens to be the longest and best game that we're going to be playing, right? And there's a lot of different games within there, right? There's a career game, there's our children game, there are career path, job path, business path games, there are hobbyist games, right? There's learning driving. There's a lot of different kinds of games you're going to play in your life. So I'm just going to kind of show you how to really take control of that overall life to make sure we can go. So another reason why is like what I've kind of observed is life has this way of dragging you down to like the status quo. Like really it's dragging us down to the status quo, right? And the reason why I just think about it, right? Most people in this world are going to be average, right? Most of them are going to be average, versus for us, we're constantly like striving to improve or get better or increase our position in life. That's why you're watching videos like this, right? That's why we watch videos like this, because we want to get better, we want to keep improving, we want to take those steps we need to do, even though the steps are hard for us to do, right? But we know that if we do the hard work, it gets easier over time. I once heard a quote saying, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy, right? So it's okay. Like, I understand, like, starting a business can be hard, and we're gonna talk about why it's hard. It's not that it's hard because, like, it's a complicated thing. It's just that the way we've kind of lived our life up to this point, in a lot of cases, is not super conducive to running a successful business, right? It's just really training us to become a slightly different way of operating in order to go and reach your goals. And there are some similarities between how you operate in your job versus how you operate inside of your business. We try to kind of activate those and kind of have those reminders in place to make sure you know what you're doing. Okay, but again, life has a way of dragging us down to the status quo. If you're not actively taking control of your life, you're going to be pulled down, just have a normal life. And there's nothing wrong with a normal life, don't get me wrong. But if you're a person that wants like freedom, right, whether it's like time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, right, you have to really take a stand and really stand up for your life. Next way you can start doing this is actually writing down your goals. So create your own goals. So one thing that I kind of noticed, and this is kind of when I was growing up, is that everyone else set the goals for me. Right, go to school, get straight A's, go to a great college, graduate from the college, right? Go get a job, stay in that job for 20, 30 years, retire, then go travel. It's like everything was kind of like laid out for me as to like what you should do and like what is important, right? Getting the best career that you could get. People were talking about, becoming a lawyer or becoming like a doctor, because that's the most successful path, right? But I couldn't become a doctor because I'm afraid of blood. and I don't like schooling, and I don't like long nights. So like I don't like, well, I do now because I do like salsa dancing at nighttime, but I was not a person that was going to pull all-nighters in school. I think in my total career of school from high school to college, I pulled 3 all-nighters, and like an all-nighter for me was like 11 p.m. Right? It's just, yeah. And I like one day I was like, I was restarted reading a bunch of books, and I was like Rich Dad Poor Dad, a lot of like business books and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, there's another way I can do this. I don't have to go and like, work for someone else for 30 years. I don't have to, just make ends meet and just be a little bit above paycheck to paycheck. I was watching this video the other day, and it was like a financial advising kind of like meme, and the person's like, I want to go pay for a house, and the financial advisor started laughing, and he says, well, you're not paycheck to paycheck, you're more what we call vacation to pet surgery. And I didn't understand it in the moment, like, what does that mean? But basically what it means is that like he's not broke, but he's just like either one emergency or one vacation away from being back to broke. Right? And like I didn't want to live like that. I'm not saying that you live like that, but I'm just saying like, it's one of those things where if you don't have your own goals, it's very easy for life to kind of pull you down to the spot to where you have no options. Now, most people have no goals. Life just kind of happens to them. Right? I'm not necessarily saying that you have to have a goal. It's like, oh, I have to have $1 million or $5 million or 10. Like, it doesn't have to just be a monetary goal, but we need to know what is actually important to us in order to know how we can start moving towards that. If you have no goals, life will just happen to you, and you will actually, if you don't have an agenda, you'll be put inside of someone else's agenda. Very, very simply, right? Because life, they talk about the financial system. Right? They're putting people in a system to be able to kind of produce outcomes for the 1% of people that are making all the money. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to become like greedy or this corporate raider or anything like that, but I'm saying like you can start joining the 5%, the 10%, the 1% if you really want to. It doesn't take that much effort. It doesn't take that much effort. You can be making $200K a year with your accounting and your bookkeeping business, if you just put in the right time, the right activities, and the right actions. Okay? And that's the main thing. Now, the next thing is, for some people, life just kind of happens, and there's what's called an internal versus external locus of control. So that means, does life happen to you, or do you cause life to happen? Now, there's, of course, a gray area. It's not like a 100% I control every aspect of life, or 100% life happens to me, right? But the more stuff that you can start to see is either you are causing it versus it just happens, the easier it is for you to be successful. Now, if you want to live your life however you want to live your life, I'm not telling you how to change your life. I'm telling you how to grow a business so you have enough financial resources to be able to live life however you want. Okay, so please don't get that mixed up. I'm not giving you like this I'm not like some like guru that's telling you how to live life and meditate for 50,000 hours a day. I'm telling you what's worked for me to get out of a financial situation that I was in and be able to live a life of peace. So, but the first thing is like really understand like who is in control. Now in business, the cool thing is that even though we can't control people, we can use the law of averages to really hit our goals. So if I know I need to hit X number of clients, that just means I have to do X number of consultation calls. To do X number of consultation calls, I need to do X amount of like marketing work to get those consultation calls. And that just turned into a math equation, and then all I have to do is throughout the year just hit my math equation and I'm good. And I naturally reach my goals, whatever those goals might be. Now, there is limits to that, right? You can't just go and like grow like, $10 million business per year, right? Because, there are some limits to business. Like how many consultation calls can you take in a day? How much work can you do in a day? How many clients can you manage at one time? How many staff? Like, right? So like there are like certain limits, but generally 0 to about 10K per month. There's not that many limits on the business, so anyone can really get there. When we start talking about $10 million a year, $1 million a year, that's when, it's a little bit different. It's a lot harder for a lot of people. But anywhere under like 20K per month is not challenging at all. Now, another reason why it's important to set your goals is because everyone else will kind of set limiters on you, right? I remember growing up, one of my mom was saying like, oh well, well, your brother can't do this, or this thing can't happen. I was like, well, why can't he do that? I know that maybe he has trouble controlling emotions or controlling certain things, but why can't he? Right? There's nothing like wrong with him. Why can't he learn? Well, that's just the way things have always been for him, and blah blah. Well, I mean, is that because he can improve, or is that because he thinks that since his mom is saying that he can't do something, it must be true because mom never lies to me? Right? And like, there's always like areas like that in my life where I was just looking, and it's like, well, is that actually true, or is that just something that was spoken over someone that stops them from reaching what their actual potential is? Right? So you have to choose your own goals so other people can't limit you. Then what you have to do is you need to write down your goals every single day. So for example, for me, I write down my goals every single day. I'm looking for I have like a Remarkable, it's called. I'm writing down my goals every single day, right? And for me, I've learned how to really set my goals in a way to where I have complete focus. The less goals that you can actually have, I like focusing on fewer goals, but having multiple reasons why it's important to reach those goals. Okay, so what I mean by that is having a goal is one thing, but also having anchors in emotions is ultimately way more important than just that. So let's say you have like 3 to 5 main goals. Let's say one of your goals is to make $100,000 a year inside of your bookkeeping business. Okay, that's goal number 1. Okay, let's say it's also to be able to take 3 vacation or 1 vacation a quarter. Okay, so that's 4 vacations a year. Okay, cool. So that's 4 vacations a year. Let's say another goal where it's like make every single one of your children's basketball games. Okay, cool. That's another goal, right? Now, since you have those 3 goals, let's just assume for the sake of this discussion, okay, those are 3 main goals. Now, why do we need to do each one of those? For each one of those 3 goals, we need to have as many different reasons why this is important to you and why it's essential for you to reach it, okay? So let's say for $100,000 a year, so I can leave my job, so I can be able to spend more time with my children, so I can actually go to my children's games, right? So I can actually connect to goal number 3. Let's say the second thing is to have 4 vacations a year. Okay, I want to enrich my children's life. I want my children to be world travel. I want to be world travel. I want to go and get as much sunlight as I can. I want to be able to go and find this place. We want to be able to do this. We never had, the ability to travel growing up. I want my children to know what it's like to go on an airplane. I want my children to know what it's like to go and like speak different languages. I want my children to be immersed in different cultures, right? What are all the different reasons why it's important for you to do that? And then what that does, it makes it easier for you to follow through the activities to stick through the goal, okay? One thing I used to have trouble was I'd have these goals, but I wouldn't have any reason to really accomplish them. They were just nice ideas that I had in my mind, but since I didn't have any reasons why it was important for me to do it, every time that things got hard, I would just kind of like pivot or get distracted or do something else for a while. And it wasn't until I started figuring out the reasons why the goals were important that I could really say, okay, cool, this is what I need to do. This is why I need to do it. And then when things get hard, it's just like, oh, well, I know this is hard, but I have so many reasons why it's important to do this thing. And that's what leads me to go and hit my goals every single time. And I can predict my goals with very, very, very extreme certainty that I'm going to hit it. Generally for me, with my goal setting, about 80 to about 90% on target most years. So it's just one of those things. And it's just one of those things where you get better and better every single year and every single day. Right? Next thing is to start playing infinite games. So what is an infinite game? An infinite game is a game that never ends. So if you think about it, technically, an infinite game is a game that never ends, but you can choose to leave whenever you want. Now, most people, they're already playing an infinite game, which is, number 1 is going to be like your career, right? You can do your career as long as you want until you exit when you retire or get fired or whatever, right? But you have to ask yourself which infinite games are worth playing, right? Some infinite games are worth playing. Marriage. Some games that are worth playing. Business. Some games that can be worth playing. Children, right? Pets are a little bit different because they die. They have like a much shorter life frame than what we do, but you can always get another pet, right? So owning a home, right? What's worth it? Those are the games you need to start playing, right? Kind of goes back to your goals. If you feel like your current career is not going to take you to whatever your current goals are, then you need to switch to a new game. And make sure the game that you play is worth playing. For me, I have deemed that the game of business is worth playing because I can control my income, I can control my time, I can control my life. Right? So for example, last week I had to go to Chicago, right? I could just get up and go because I can do what I want, right? We just basically said, hey, we're gonna go here. I wanted to go meet some friends for like not like a business networking thing, but just like a networking thing, just to go and talk. So called my lady, say, hey, let's go here. You want to do this? You want to do this? She's like, yeah, let's do this thing. Then we got everything together, we got everything set up, and then we were gone, right? But that's the kind of lifestyle that I plan for. I plan to be able to have the ability to travel when I need to be mobile, to be able to go, right? So that is the key thing that it takes in order to, like, start playing the game. If I was like still playing, in my career, right, then it's like, you get 3 weeks of vacation time, and like you have to really kind of like work that. You get 3 weeks of vacation time, you have 52 weekends in a year, it's like, well, you have a bunch of 3-day weekends maybe. But the month end comes and it's just like, it's all hectic, right? But yeah, start playing infinite games. Business is an infinite game with many games in underneath it, right? Now on this channel we have lots of videos that kind of show you different tactics of how to do this, but this is more of a way of thinking about life that's going to set you on track for success. Because we can control our mind, we can control our outcomes. Okay? Now I know that life is not always going to happen the way we plan, right? I know that people go to the hospital, I know people get sick, I know we get sick, I know events outside of our control happen, but as much as possible I'm controlling the things I can control to let the chips fall where they may. It just happens to go in the right direction every single time. Okay? So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something new. I know it's a little different than the videos we usually shoot on this channel, where it's like, go message this many people, go talk to this person, say this, say that. But this is the stuff that actually like makes you successful in business long term. And my goal on this channel is to make sure you're as successful as possible. And also, if you want some help growing your business, like, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call to see if we can help you inside our program. On the call, we're going to take a look at, like, where are you right now, where do you want to go, and we're going to talk about a proven path of what it's going to look like for us to work together to reach that goal together. And then if you feel like, hey, it's a good fit, I'm going to talk about the pricing, then we get started right then and there. We can get off towards your goals and off towards your aspirations. Okay? So I will talk to you on the call. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy.